6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for the look ahead to the big game tomorrow afternoon. Really looking forward to this one. I always love playing Spurs. They used to be our whipping boys, didn't they? We used to whip them all the time. Our little bitch is what we used to call them back in the day. I've got Ian in the background. Harry is waiting to come on. He's just wrapping up another show, so we'll get to him very, very soon, hopefully. So while we're waiting for Harry to come in, just do the normal stuff. There's a membership option if you want to be a member. Link is at the top of the chat. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. It really helps. The most important thing is, though, is our sponsors. Diacro, 20% off for all our viewers. Link is in the description below. They give $40 to the channel to give away to a lucky member. And football prizes. This is an amazing Champions League, fully signed shirt. Absolutely want to get my hands on this myself. Closes on the 17th, and then it's drawn the next day. Fully signed by the whole squad. So get your tickets while you can. The link is in the description. Quickly jump in the chat as always. Ches says, keep comments respectful, no caps, duplicates, all that sort of stuff. Super chat's in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can join for 99p. Hey, Ches, I'm awake. Leslie's in the house. Grateful all the same. Did you watch the Joe Linton video? I haven't seen it, but I am looking forward to the life in the day of Joe Linton. Evening Magpie Stew, evening Chairs, evening Gary, evening Chairs and Chairs Buddy, and evening everyone. Lee, hope you're well. Right, Ian, how's it going, pal?
I'm all right, mate.
Hey, I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for tomorrow. Football's back. It's only been a week, but it's like yes.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the Sky Sports presenter, Harry. Hello, Harry.
Hi, right. Very nice to be here. Looking forward to getting into the game.
Good.
Should be good.
Yes, I can't wait to discuss this. It's going to be fun. First of all, though, there is something that's happening on the 20th of April, I think it is. This is happening. So there's a fundraiser for mental health. It's Lee's, who was in the chat. Son is doing an MMA fight, I believe, and they're trying to raise £1,000 for mental health. We've done a donation from the channel. So if anybody else who, into that sort of thing wants to go and watch the fight, I'm sure there's a way of getting tickets as well. But please donate if you can, because it's a great cause. And we love charities on this show, so we like to give money when we can. But let's hope and get a few. Oh, you're in the chat as well, mate.
Multitasking.
I can't do that, mate, and no can Ian, so we're both screwed on that front.
No, we can't do anything like that.
No, it's too complicated. Typing and talking at the same time, it just doesn't happen. But yeah, if anyone can donate to this amazing cause, please do so. It helps a lot, and I know Lee will appreciate it, as you just said. Thanks there. Now, this one is also sort of close to your heart a little bit, Harry. Obviously, you're very open-hearted about your autism. You talk about a lot. So Newcastle United are the first of its kind to do a shirt for two fans who are deaf to be able to get a match day experience through the feel of their Newcastle top. These two lads are going to experience it tomorrow afternoon at the game. It's got sensors on the shoulders and down the front and down the back, so it kind of gives you that spine tingling feeling when the crowd's, getting up and getting erupted. Would you like to see something like that at the Spurs Stadium as well?
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see it.
Absolutely. I think more needs to be done for deaf fans as well. I think there's something that we don't see in the Premier League, very little consideration or leeway, if you like. So that's excellent. I didn't know about that. So thank you for that. Obviously, it'd be great to hear after their experience, but it sounds like a fantastic idea. Absolutely.
Yeah, so our sponsor seller and RNID, the charity, have got together to produce this shirt and to give it to these two fans to trial and see how it goes. I mean, I know they do stuff for blind people where they have earphones, but like when you go to the cricket, you can listen to the commentary.
Yeah.
So I know they do that for the blind, but this is the first time they've done anything for the deaf deaf fans to be able to feel the experience. I mean, Ian, it's cracking, isn't it? I love the idea.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how far the club's got in my eyes, because the Mike Ashley days, I don't even think it would even been thought about, and it just goes to show what our owners are about. They're just trying to get they're trying to get a feel out there that this club's a loving club now, and we care about everybody. And I think it's absolutely remarkable, and Seller obviously plays a massive part in that. And to change the sponsorship on the front of the shirt tomorrow to that causes logo, which is, it is remarkable as well.
And they're getting all the sponsorship money as well from the game.
Yeah, and with that again, we've done things for charity this year, bars and played in football matches for good causes. This is just, it's on a different level. I mean, the money that will generate to help to go towards that great cause, it's remarkable what the club's trying to do. And Harry, on a personal note, I know I've seen a lot of stuff this week, which is what you've reached out to regarding autism and stuff like that. Mate, I just think stick your shoulders high. What you do is just absolutely remarkable, mate. And you're going to have such a bright future. And honestly, mate, what you do, and just keep sticking at it, because you're absolutely remarkable, mate.
That's very kind. Thank you, Ian.
We've been saying it for ages. You probably get bored of me saying it. He's just taking the piss now. But no, it is true. We actually, me and Ian have actually talked off air quite a few times and said, he's like Sky Sports in the making, to be fair.
Very kind.
The haptic technology was used for classical shows and concert halls and apparently changed the experience for the deaf dramatically.
Wow.
There you go. We have the absolute best owners in the league. Right, well, here we go, right, because all that lovely promotion for, doing what we were doing for their fans, getting, the sponsorship money to them. They then released today, season ticket prices have gone up and everyone is now up in arms on Twitter. And it's just like, you do good and then you put the prices up and then you get people backlash. And now personally, prices have to go up. It's inflation. Everything's gone up. Cocoa bean, where I work for Nestle making chocolate, cocoa bean went up from £4,000 a ton to £8,500 a ton in about 3 weeks, and that put a lot of jobs at risk, because could we afford to carry on making the chocolate, basically? So these things happen. That means our pay rise is probably going to get scrapped, But Newcastle are a business. They're not here just for the fans. They're here to make money, to improve things. They're going to have a big summer in my eyes, though, putting the prices up again. You've got to be able to bring, a better product into the ground. Everyone says, oh, yeah, but they're doing this in the facilities. They're doing this and that. It's like, no. I pay my ticket to watch the pitch. Yeah. And those players on the pitch. And I want that product to be the best it can be. So if you're putting prices up, that product has to improve as well. Has there been a price increase for Spurs? I think there has, hasn't there?
There's been a 6%
I think it went down
increase.
like a lead balloon as well, didn't it?
It certainly did. That hurt as well. Timing not long after that Fulham defeat as well. I didn't time that very well. 6% increase. They say, obviously, I get that alone, but the problem we have that they also scrap senior concessions. And there's talk of them doing it with junior concessions as well. And what that is really for me is that it's exploiting loyalty, and that's when it goes too far. You can justify a price increase, but then just exploiting loyalty for me isn't necessary. And the club released the statistics, the numbers, etc. And we know that we can spend like 550 million, I think it is, without even touching FFP. That the money's there. That they don't need that extra from ending, scrapping concessions, if you like. So that is a little bit wrong, I think, from the club. That's wrong. But in terms of the increase, I think, like with a few other clubs, we've seen it. But I think Arsenal, West Ham also, I think Arsenal started it with the senior concessions, and Tottenham have joined as well. I don't get it, because I was speaking to so many Spurs fans that been season ticket holders, we're talking 35, 40 years, some even longer, and they've been thinking, right, we get to this stage, where you get the seating concessions, and now that they haven't got that, and the kind of people plan for that, and it's all kind of gone out the window. So that is poor from the club, but the increase itself, I think it is justified in terms of the way that they do justify it themselves with the price here. Some things are out of their control that have gone up, and as you say, inflation, everything has gone up. So you can't be keeping your prices the same, football club or not.
Yeah, the way I see it, Ian, is you get all these people complaining about the season ticket prices going up, but are they ringing Virgin with an 8% increase on broadband? Are they ringing their phone networks who were put 5%, 7% increase on their mobile phone bills as well? Everything's gone up, but yet it seems to be because they're putting football prices up, they attack the club straight away, but they don't even think about their utilities that are going up as well. It's shit. It's the world we live in, but you've just got to sort of accept it, I'm afraid.
Do you know? I think it's
trying to be careful.
Yeah. for me, obviously inflation and stuff, but you can see why they put the season ticket prices up. You want the best on the pitch, so you've got to generate more funds to get through that door to get the best players on the pitch. And it goes to show with our financial fair play in windows that we can't. And obviously the news that came out the other day, we've got to generate 6 million before June, so we don't get that financial fair play penalty. So that's how close we are. So we've got to generate money somehow. But I remember when I had my season ticket when I finished playing football, when we were in the Championship, right? And then when we went to the Premiership, Mike Ashley kept it the same for one season. Then he humped it up 20%.
Yeah.
Right? 20%. Right? Now, I was absolutely devastated when I'm 20%, but I still took it, but then I give it up. I mean, what do Newcastle fans want? Do you want a club that, again, that goes down that road where we're not going to invest? Or do you want a club that just because people think we've got the richest owners in the world, we haven't got the richest club in the world, and we're miles behind. Harry's just said they can spend 500 million without even touching financial fair play. Manchester United are in 700 million pounds worth of debt, and they can still spend in any window. Manchester City are the same because the turnover's that
500 million. They can spend as well.
Right, the turnover's that great they can spend that kind of money. We've got to generate that kind of money from somewhere to get that result on the pitch. And yes, they're going to chip away at stuff, but they're going to have to chip away at other things as well, which will put the prices up. And it's just, that's the way football's going. And that's modern day life, unfortunately. Yeah. And we're going to have to accept that. I mean, as I've seen a lot of fans of mine, and I know there's a lot of in my circle, they've been stuck into this deal where they've had a season ticket for a long, long time paying low.
I was going to just about to bring that up. But at the end of the day, you put a 10-year freeze of Mike Ashley on season tickets, which means the prices have been so low. This price increase is actually just bringing us up to what other clubs are actually charging. We're not actually going above what other clubs are charging. We're just trying to get to a level where everyone's at.
So I'm sure some of my friends will pay like £38-48 a month for a season ticket, right? And now because it's going to go up to a normal price, they're going to go, God, that's going to hurt us in the pocket. But think about how much you've paid for the last 6 or 7 years to a normal bloke that's just got a season ticket that's paying top whack. You've got to, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of players, a lot of fans in that club that's been in with that season ticket deal that's been around. So, me personally, it's easy for me to say because I haven't got a season ticket anymore, right? And it's not hurting,
for me,
and it's not hurting my pocket. But there's so many fans out there that want to get there, which will snap the hands off for a 5% increase. So do you know what it is? You can see what the club's doing. I can accept the 5% because we're going in the right direction slowly, and we're financially we're miles behind Spurs, Arsenal, Tottenham, Spurs, Man City, Man United. We're miles behind that, but we're just going to have to chip away and get there. So I can see why they're frustrated, but we should kind of accept what we're trying to do and moving in the right direction in my eyes. But again, it's easy for me to say because I haven't got a season ticket anymore. It
is easy for us to say, but at the end of the day, we want to compete and we want to become better.
Of course we do.
So, is there a way of actually bringing costs down elsewhere? And I'm going to show you a table, which I think is very frightening. It's agent fees.
You're
Now,
never going to put that down, Baz. Never, ever.
But the thing is, though, why the hell are agents getting this kind of money? £18.8 million Newcastle paid in agent fees. Look at Man City's 60 million. Chelsea, 75 million. How is an agent earning that kind of money? Surely there should be a cap somewhere on agent fees, because that is ridiculous.
Well,
Harry, do you want to have a shot at that first?
Sorry, Harry, quickly, but if a club's going to get punished, if a club's going to get punished for financial fair play to try and benefit the club and buying better players for X amount of pounds, right? The Brendan Johnson one to Spurs was a classic.
Yeah.
Why isn't agents been dealing with that? Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
£409 million in total over the Premier League in one season has been spent on agent fees. 409 million.
Wow.
I just don't understand how that's justified for somebody to put a contract together, put it in front of a club and say, sign it. It just seems ridiculous. Yeah. It must be the easiest job in football.
I think it is.
You ring Romero up and say, okay, do you might fancy putting this rumour out that this player wants to go to Chelsea for like 80 million, and then we'll get Man United to bid for him instead, and then I've done my job. It's mental. It's
not quite like that, but I was like listening to the Tottenham All or Nothing documentary, and we had this guy Steve Hitchin who's in charge of transfers, and his pay, I can't remember exactly, but it's significant. But he admitted he does nothing all year round. It's like when it comes to summer in January, and he was sitting on here moaning about his job. He's going, well, it's quite tough. He says that I come in 3 or 4 days a week, and I'm here at 9 o'clock. He said I go home at 5 o'clock, and it's non-stop. I was thinking, you sound ridiculously out of touch. You say you're here 3 or 4 days. You do nothing for the whole year, unless January and summer, and you're moaning about it. And I can't remember his salary, but it was significant. We're talking close to the millions as well, so it's significant. It's
mental, because they get a salary and then they get bonuses on top.
Bonuses, yeah. He got bonuses per transfer. Yeah.
Agent fees. I mean, I remember we were trying to do a deal with someone, and like the agent was demanding like 5 million or something like that. It's like, how can the agent demand 5 million? It's the player we're buying, not the fucking agent.
Was that that was the Ekitike deal?
It might have been the Ekitike one, yeah.
But I'm glad we're
absolutely bonkers. I need to be an agent now. It's
the
way to go down.
Sky Sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Get yourself a lawyer's
Sorry
degree
about
in football.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
You're too honest to be an agent.
Yeah, definitely. Harry, you brung this up on Twitter, and I brung it up on a video I did. So you haven't seen the video. There's a video I put out yesterday. You should go and watch it. It's got lots of information in it, and this is part of it. This is what I've been crying out for a very long time, since I saw it in the Champions League. It's the semi-automated offside technology. So there's a chip in the ball, there's cameras around the ground, so it knows exactly when the ball's kicked to where the player is positioned, and it's able to put the pictures together, high quality graphics, and basically to ensure it can be as accurate as possible. Now, there's always with data, there's always something that could potentially be wrong. However, this is the closest we're going to get to perfection at the moment. And this makes things a lot faster. There's no drawing of lines, waiting for them to make a decision. Everything's done for them. The only thing they have to determine is whether the player was involved in play, and all that sort of stuff. But this is going to save a lot of time, and I am all for it. Have you had a good look into it since you tweeted it, Harry? And are you happy that it's coming in?
I learned a lot more. I'm not going to be totally honest with you. It took me ages to find out. I was sitting there for half an hour trying to work out who their attacker was. Then I saw they were numbered, and I was like, missed that the whole time. So wasted half an hour of that. But then I realised that that's what we've seen in the Champions League. We'd seen before, I think, in the World Cup, and it was really, really effective. And at the moment, it's simply not. So I think that any change is welcome. But when you understand it a little bit more, it looks really positive. I think it's the right way to go about it. My only question is, what took so long?
Apparently it didn't get voted through for this season. I don't know who voted against it or why. I would love to
share
know.
that. That's annoying. It'd be great to see.
No, because it works in the Champions League. So why? It's we could go on all night about
Who gets
that.
lots of offside decisions? I wonder who voted against
Yeah,
that.
well, Liverpool.
Yeah, I was thinking of it. Yeah, came to my head.
Ian, are you happy this technology's coming in finally?
I'm trying to wrap my brains out, because I can see where if the quickness and stuff, if the ball's played forward off a normal player, then you can see the line. There's no lines needs to be drawn as quick. I'm sure it was a West Ham game. Do you know when Fab Shaw played? He went to play. He didn't go to pass the ball because he went to go to shoot. And then it was for the penalty. That's what it was. Sorry.
Yes.
It was for the penalty.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So will that be used for that, or will it because potentially that was brought back for an offside at first, and then do you know what I mean? Will that
it was who touched the ball last is what they would have to look at. So the offside decision would have been offside.
Yeah.
But then VAR would have to look at who touched the ball. So it's more. Remember the Isaac one at Liverpool?
Yeah.
It would be much clearer for those kind of offsides.
So what I'm trying to say is, will they, when the situation becomes of that, where obviously Fab Shaw took the ball first, right, and then looked for the offside because Gordon came back on, and then they went for the penalty. Will VAR then come in? So we'll still have the same situation where the offside.
You would have on difficult decisions like that, yes, but you won't have it for ones where you've got to draw the lines on for ages to see who's onside and who's offside, because it'll automatically do that for you. So that brings down the minutes. Now, what you're saying is, did he deliberately play it? Did he not deliberately play it? What happens is it goes to the VAR room, the offside, and says it's offside. Now they have to then press a button to say, right, that goes to the referee and says he's offside. So they will then stop from pressing the button until they've made a final decision on it. They'll probably say to the referee, we need to look at that because we're not sure who played the ball last and whether he's deliberately onside or offside. So yes, there will still be, time taken away. But for normal offsides, where the ball's played through and the striker runs onto it, you'll get a decision instantly.
I think the reason why I brought that up for, he's one at Liverpool. I think it'll work fantastic because it's a quick decision just like that, rather than just fight lines and just think. But a situation where it's still, they're going to use two different types of technology in my eyes. They're going to use that one, and then they're going to then bring VAR in. So then sometimes VAR, they stumble across the cells and make the cells look thick anyway. So,
well, it's the same technology anyway, isn't it? It's just not drawn lines on anymore. It'll say offside straight away. Then they've got to determine who played the ball last and whether he is actually offside. So you still got the same situation, but you wouldn't have to wait for the lines to be drawn for the offside decision, because that would just be like, right, yes, he is offside. Now we've got to work out, did he deliberately play the ball?
Should be a quicker process.
Yeah, so it will still be quicker, but it'll still be down to judgment, and it will still be a pain in the arse, but it will quicken up other decisions, if that makes sense.
1,000,000%. I agree, quicken up on the other decision, but I still think them people are behind the screens are just that's
the problem.
For that one, for the technology that they're using for that one will be brilliant, but the other side with it's going to be a question mark all over, and it's for me.
It's still tough, don't get me wrong, but it's going to make up other decisions a lot faster. So we should say speeding up the game a little bit.
Do you not think, obviously, both of you answer this, do you not think, because we can be in a VAR room, right? Me, you, and Harry, right? And then we'll all have a different, we've spoken about this. We'll all have a different viewpoint of what you, right? So do you not think limiting the numbers of the person in the VAR room will be better? Because there's about 4 or 5 in there. So there's one man. If we are confident in this technology going forward with the offside one, surely that's taken away somebody else's decision to draw a line, somebody else to have a look and go, do you think he's offside or whatever? So then there's just one man sitting in that VAR room because he's just got his sole decision with a referee and just talking to him, just a one-man band, and then he can go, look, that's what it is, rather than his mate going, well, I don't think that is, then he'll go, you could be right. So that could be another 2 or 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So let's be confident in one.
It's kind of a jury, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't Hey, you don't need that.
For me, one or two, maybe two in terms of you get a second opinion, because sometimes you just, I think, human error, you miss something and the other one goes, oh, look, you missed that. Goes, oh, thank you. But I agree with you. I can picture it. I think we all can, in terms of you have 3 or 4 going, oh, I think it's that. I think it's that. They go, oh, yeah, let's go with that. You can picture it. So I think you don't need 3 or 4 in there, that's for sure. So I think you're spot on with that.
2 official referee and an ex-player. That's how I would like to see it, because an ex-player can see whether a player's diving or not, because they know what a dive looks like. I mean, we know what a dive looks like as well, but they don't seem to.
We see far too many of that.
Yes, I mean, Jesus Christ, what was the one we saw recently? Saka.
Oh my goodness! Apparently, it's not a dive though.
No, less said about that, the better, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. It's the 10-year anniversary of this cracking headline. We're sorry. The newspaper apologising to Alan Pardew because of the fans' anger. But yet, they apologised for the 3-0, lost 4-0, lost 4-0, lost 4-0, lost 3-0, lost 3-0, lost 2-0, lost 1-0, lost 1-0, lost 1-0, lost 2-1, lost, and it's all our fault. And of course, they had to apologise for Pardew headbutting a player as well. I remember reading this, and it was absolutely hilarious. We were going through a terrible spell at that point. I think we ended up beating Liverpool in October on Halloween, and that saved his job. And then we went on a decent run, and then he ended up moving on to Palace, which was probably a godsend. But Jesus, what a headline that was. What a manager Pardew was. He had his critics, but he did a decent job, to be fair.
He got us to the quarterfinals of the Europa.
He did, exactly. And he got his, what was it, fifth or sixth in the league?
Yeah, we had a decent side then, mate. With Cabaye.
Yeah, Tiore, Cabaye, Bar, Ben Arthur, Cisse.
We had a decent side.
Yeah, definitely. Really looking forward to this game tomorrow, Harry. And you're a little bit too young to remember when you used to come to ST.James Park and get absolutely battered every time you came up.
Remember last season?
Yeah, well, we're coming to that. But I remember my favourite one was when we beat you 7-1 and Shearer scored 2, Ferdinand scored 2, Rob Lee scored 2, and Albert scored. That was some game, that one. But last season, I mean, I was there, and the first 20 minutes was just like everything. It was like a computer game. It was like a computer game on easy mode.
Beginner.
Yeah, and just every time we hit the ball, it just flew in, and it was absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe what was going on. Did you? I never saw it coming. I mean, looking at your team back then a year ago, were you expecting to get anything from the game? Harry Kane scored his usual goal against us, but 5 goals in 20 minutes. It was just crazy.
Yeah. No, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. We're talking about, at the time, a really high-flying Newcastle team, and it really was high-flying. St. James's Park, really, really tough place to go at the time. If I could be completely wrong, but I think there was a period where you only lost once there. I think it was Arsenal or something. You only lost 2. So
yes.
It's a really, really good record when we came into that game. So I knew it'd be tough. And I remember sitting on Newcastle show, I think it was Tony's, it's all black and white TV, and I think I said that it's going to be tough. We're not in a good place as a team. I think we could lose this. But never did I honestly think there and sit there and think we're going to concede 6 goals, for example. Newcastle, you were great. And the goals you scored were good. But in terms of Tottenham and the defending, we just haven't woke up. And how long does it take? 5-0 down before you make any changes. And then you pull Pape Matar, and that could have ruined his career in terms of confidence. Just lucky he's a very strong individual and came back for it. But if you pull, I don't know, there's another member of the team, Basuma, or I don't know, Sessegnon, if he wasn't injured at the time, then they would have been deeply affected by that. So that was poor. The tactics were wrong. To play a back 4 and put Perisic left back, I don't know who would even come up to think of that idea. It was just some bonkers suggestions in there. It just didn't make sense. So he was gone Stellini after. So the club took instant action. Obviously, Kane did score. So the second half, we ended 1-1. His usual goal. Second half was 1-1. That's the only positive. But you can't collapse in 19 and a half minutes, I think it was. So that's ridiculous. I think Jacob Murphy's face summed it all up to him in the first half. He's surprised not only with the goal, but the way the whole first half planned out. But yeah, your goals you took were very good. But from Tottenham, from Romero to Lloris, the whole of the back line to the midfield, honestly, that was embarrassing. We haven't had anything quite like that. So I think there'll be a lot of even Spurs players. I know a lot of them now are luckily from that team, but they will know of the result. The fans will remind them, and they won't go that game like totally putting it behind them. So it's a little bit of a worry. But however, bad we are tomorrow, I don't think that we'll be hopefully talking about something of that extreme, if you like. But it's awful, unforgivable.
I think it's going to be a tough game, but we'll reminisce a little bit longer, Ian, because we saw the assist at St James's Park, probably the best assist I've ever seen at St James's Park from Willock in that game. Yeah, that outside of the foot from the left wing, right into Isak's path, right round the defender. It was just, he tried to do it again, and he nearly did a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? But
He did.
That was just superb, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when I watched the game, I had to take a breath because I just couldn't believe what I was watching, to be honest. But you're on about memories back. I mean, mate, I won a ticket. It was the first time I seen Spurs, because I was still playing football at the time. I won a ticket on Twitter, and I went in the hospitality club, and I won it. Yeah, you did, and I won tickets, and it was a Spurs game, and Jermaine Defoe was playing, and we actually drew 2-2. And the best player I've seen in James's Park played that day for Spurs was Luka Modric. What a player he was!
Oh yeah, quality,
unbelievable, by the way. And
still is now as well. That's the thing.
It's really still going at 38.
Still got it. Yeah.
38-year-old. He came on the other night and he was just bossing it. He
absolutely bossed it.
Spraying balls about, and he could. I know the pace isn't over there, but he's just what a remarkable player. But I mean, getting back to that day, I thought Spurs would have still come back. I was just one of them. It was one of them when he got the half.
It was always that worry when Harry Kane scored, wasn't it? It's like, are we going to fold like a house of cards here, or are we going to hold on?
I mean, there was a lot of Spurs players that day, like Harry said. I just don't think they knew what hit them, and it just reminded a little bit where Arsenal came,
with the crowd and
it was funny, the Arsenal one, because if you watch the Arsenal documentary, there was a couple of weeks before when Arsenal went to Spurs and Spurs absolutely annihilated them. And I said to one of my friends who was an Arsenal fan, I says, I tell you now, mate, I says, you's buckled under the pressure at Spurs, mind. You couldn't handle the occasion. I says, God help you when you come to St James's Park. And we absolutely annihilated Arsenal that day. And I felt it was a bit like the same way, because we were flying. Our tails were right up, and I mean, even the day when we got took over, the ground itself, when we had our new owners in, everything, we started that game like a house on fire. We went one up straight away, and obviously Spurs got the better of us that day.
I was going to say, didn't you play us? Wasn't it the first game of the ownership? We won 3-2 in the end. Bruce
Wilson scored.
You won 3-2, yeah.
Yeah.
Wilson scored within 8 minutes, and the place went absolutely electric. But obviously, your quality in the end came through, and you beat us. But this time, I think, because obviously we were on the up, so we were flying. We had the best defensive record in the country, and just everything was just momentum was going in that right direction. And I just don't think you knew what hit them. I mean, we're in different ball game now, mate.
Put it this way: Lloris was taken off at half time, and he was never seen again for the rest of the season. And he weren't injured. I tell you something: in the first, in fact, he was the first one to be down the tunnel. We had never seen him move so quick. So
he threw the treble in.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And in terms of, although I put it mainly on Stellini at the time, he stepped in. He was assistant of Conte. Stepped in, and he was very nice guy. Stepped in, volunteered almost like to do it. But I think it's the players that looked at Stellini and went, "You're not going to be here 5 minutes anyway. I'm not going to play for you." So it was really a gutless performance for Spurs that looked a bit lost. I think Kane was obviously, I'm not to say they didn't try, but Kane was always trying to get Tottenham back in the game. It just felt like he was on his own. Defensively, we were woeful, and that's the thing. And you pay Perisic left back, and that says for me, that says everything about his manager. Left wing back, Conte, that's one thing, but left back in a back four, and Paru, who's never ever played in a back four as right back ever in his career. It's a lot to ask. Two players that have never done it. So it just didn't make sense.
I mean, when we were scoring goals, Harry,
exactly.
Like when we were scoring goals, and your players were looking at each other thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, what's going on here? Like, just had that look about them to think, What on earth?
You would have thought they would have thought and regrouped. Yeah, okay, you go 2-0 down for me anyway, early, and you get to, you don't have obviously a lot of time. You go, come on, what's this about? But they didn't really even look like they were thinking about what was going on until they're 5-0 down.
Yeah,
and you try and keep the ball, don't you, for a few minutes, don't you?
Right, when you 2-0 go 2-0 down, the changes would have been on. For me, that back four would have been scrapped by then. I wouldn't have started it anyway. The back four would have been gone. Perisic would have been off or changed position. A lot would have changed, but 5-0 down. And but at 5-0 down, he's turned around to Ryan Mason and they were standing chatting for about 10-15 minutes. I was thinking, you have to laugh. We're 5-0 down, the game's done. But what are you thinking about? Next game?
Next game,
We've done the same against Liverpool. Went 3-0 down against Liverpool in 14 minutes.
Fish and chips tonight.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. This one's on me.
I love it. The worrying thing for Newcastle, though, is that only 6 players from that side will be available on Saturday. So that's a really worrying thing for us. Press conferences, massive fan of Ange, massively especially when he was asked about the pressures of getting top 4 for money to progress next season, and he used Newcastle as an example that it's not just about money, it's about good coaching, good management, good tactics. Massive fan of him. Was there anything that came out of his press conference today that you heard that you need to bring up? Or
I haven't, to be honest with you, listened to it. I just seen little clips and bits that people have sent me, and that is Richarlison, Stella, etc. And you know, he keeps saying the top 4 is not the golden ticket. He keeps being asked basically, you know, do you have to go to James Park and win? He goes, no. he said top. He said it's not life. He said I can't remember what he said today or something. He said
it's not life or death.
Not going to impact my life whether we get top 4 or not. He said winning the title will. Yeah. So even now, although we know we're not going to do it, he won't leave it alone. That gap to Man City, he has to mention it every time. He's absolutely obsessed with closing that gap, and the gap isn't substantial, but he wants to close that. I think whatever you think of Tottenham, we've struck gold with Ange Postecoglou, and he's a breath of fresh air, handles situations well. You know, Eddie Howe praised that's totally spot on. I think what he said, whereas a Conte would, or in particular Mourinho would have thrown Eddie Howe under the bus. It looks good, and they would be thinking about their own job. Can I get the Newcastle job next? Can I throw Eddie Howe under the bus? So it's just a total different mentality. And we all know that Conte wanted to be sacked in the end, and maybe Stellini did with the performance against Newcastle in the lineup. To be honest, we'll put that past him. So you know, all went wrong in that respect. But no, I think Ange is a breath of fresh air in terms of he handles things off the pitch. Richarlison's mental health thing. We had the Dele Alli interview, the way he kind of spoke about that and how he'd always be welcome. So I think he's absolutely class. I just don't get why Spurs fans are even like thinking about, not say pulling the plug, but asking questions of him. It's completely bizarre and it's completely bonkers and unnecessary.
We get that with Eddie Howe.
Equal our points. You get it everywhere, I think. We equal our points tally with 7 games to go. That's a clear sign of progress. Without Harry Kane last season, his goals, assists, and contributions, the statistics were there. We would have finished 17th. Would have stayed up on goal difference in the end. That is frightening stuff. So everything was against Ange. What I find funny, Baz, is the same fans that were saying that we'd been a relegation scrap. Because let's be very clear here. Before Postecoglou, even when he did come into the job, some bookies even wrote us down as Tottenham to be relegated. That went out the window 2 or 3 weeks in. But that didn't seem. I didn't think it would happen, but it didn't seem like out of your mind kind of stuff at the time. But the same people saying that we were going to be in that relegation scrap, or had some people tell me 14th, 15th, mid-table, are the same people that aren't happy where we are now and like, why haven't we won a trophy? You've got to be realistic. And Ange's first season, he's come in, hit the ground running, and we've really beat, for me, apart from a couple of individuals, beat the start 11 in 2 windows and changed the complete way of play. We've changed the model and the transfer business around the club. So I think it's all positive, and Ange's the core of that.
Oh, absolutely. And you can't just, click your fingers and win a trophy. It's as simple as that.
Nobody could do that.
How long has it been since you've won a trophy?
Too long, 2008.
Exactly. And for us, well, obviously a hell of a lot longer for us. But they can't just expect the manager to come in one season and go, right, we're going to get to a final and win a trophy.
The thing is, because we haven't won a trophy, fans think, we should be winning. But for me, you should be used to that, and you should go, right, this is a new beginning. But I had people that straight away, as soon as we lost to Chelsea, here we go again. It's been 12 games, downfall again. And they're instantly negative. But I've seen enough this year to believe that Ange Postecoglou is the right manager for Spurs. I don't know whether necessarily long-term he'd be the right fit for the Premier League. I think he will be, but we've seen with Ten Hag, hits the ground running with the first season. Not sure about his second season. So next season will be big to judge. But people question his characteristics, his tactical approach. He's just disrespectful because he's won trophies at the end of the day, and he's here and he aims big. Whereas Conte and Mourinho, yeah, okay, they were winners, but that Conte said top four was like winning a trophy with Spurs. That says all you need to know. He was over the moon with that. And when he got asked in an interview, he openly said that he thinks that's the maximum the club can achieve at the moment. That just says everything you need to know. Postacoglu's was like, no, this is the minimum. You know, he's like, he actually said the other day, he's that's it. One thing to take out of the press conference today. He got asked your thoughts on the season so far. He said it's okay. He said just okay. He said if it was a good season, then we'd be top of the league. We would have won the quadruple. So he's already aiming high.
Well, that's what you want from your manager. You want them to be thinking that far ahead, don't you? Managers are there to win football matches. They're there to win trophies with the players that they've got somehow. And if a manager doesn't have ambition, you've got a mid-table manager. It's as simple as that. That's the way I see it. Ian, anything from our press conference today of Joe Linton signing? Obviously massive. Yeah. Apparently he's running on grass and kicking a ball already, which is amazing.
Yeah. Obviously the Joe Linton news is huge for us.
It's massive.
You know, massive. He's pivotal for our club. And the good thing about it is, like you said, he always wanted to stay. And it was just getting them fine lines sorted.
Show me the money.
And
he deserves it, though. This is the thing. His contract, from what he was, for the standards he was playing at, for what he was getting paid, you can't blame him for wanting a better contract. It's as simple as that.
What Eddie Howe said today in his press conference was great to me about Joe Linton. He says he's not at this football club to waste time. And for me, that's you know, because some players are just there for because they're there because they've signed big money. He wants to achieve good things at this football club, and like you said, it's an important time in his life. He's at that age where he's thinking, can I go elsewhere, or do I want to do? And obviously Newcastle's and Eddie Howe's made it, and in this one, Harry said, managers play a massive part in what they do, and Eddie Howe is massive to this football club. Like, well, we're massive Eddie Howe fans, as we are. And he's played a massive part. He's played a massive part in Joe Linton staying. Because if he didn't believe in what Eddie Howe wants to do, what the club wants to do, the
project, yeah,
and he certainly doesn't. And if he didn't believe in a way that a manager wants to play it to suit his ability, Joe Linton wouldn't be at this football club. And it's exactly what Harry's trying to say about his new manager, that they've changed the philosophy of the want to play.
Yeah.
And James Maddison was coming to our football club, but as soon as he got his teeth into him, he turned around and goes, "This is what we want you to do." And he must have believed in, because he's obviously supported Eddie Howe, and he's obviously supported Newcastle because he was coming to us. And he's believed in what his manager wanted him to do with Tottenham, and that's why he signed for Tottenham. So, you know, and this is the thing, how massive this signing is for Joe Linton to stay at this football club. And I mean, Eddie Howe, in his press conference, there was a picture of Joe Linton when he first signed. He was like a baby. And what he is now, he's an absolute unit.
Animal.
Yeah, and Eddie Howe, he turned around and said he's had to change and adapt the way the Premier League is. It's fast, it's physical. And now he goes, when I'm around him at training, he says, he's obviously I'm not playing against him, but he says, but when we're doing stuff, he says, I just bounce off him. I kind of get nowhere near him. He's just an absolute unit. Now, if he's an absolute unit in training, can you imagine his presence on a football pitch where players are trying, and this is what we said the other week, mate, Baz. The system we play at Newcastle United, Joe Linton's been an absolute miss to what we try and do.
He's a key to it.
It's just what we need. And I can't wait. And if it happens next season where we've got Joe Linton, Bruno and Tonali, and when all these fans at the start of the season turn around and goes, Tonali can't play with this. Just just remember this season. Just remember this season, what we've had to go through to get us the next season. If we've got them 3 fit players, what we're going to achieve in that midfield 3, and then it'll be probably up there, one of the best in the Premier League. But the press conference today was all about Joe Linton, which is rightly so. A little bit on, obviously, Joe Willock's had a little bit setback with his Achilles injury again. But the question mark, which alarmed me, which tickled me a little bit, was which was the hole in the Tino Livramento. I think he's playing a little bit again. I think he's playing a little bit of poker face.
Mind games again.
He is, and I think Tino will start tomorrow.
I think so. The one thing I want to say about Joe Linton myself was that he said that when he first came to the club, Eddie Howe, he says he watched him on training and went, wow, we've got one hell of a player here.
Yeah.
And then he stepped back and went, why has it gone so wrong? Because he was shit for 2 years. I'm not sugarcoating it. He was terrible. We all took the mick out of him. We all said it's the worst signing we've ever made, £40 million of a waste. What were we thinking? And then Eddie Howe goes on the training pitch, though, sees him in training and goes, what the hell's going on? And he's obviously spoke to him, he sat him down and he's worked with him and coached him. And this is why Eddie Howe is so good at his job. And it's why we are very lucky to have him. Because, yes, he stumbled into Joe Linton playing in midfield because of the Kieran Clark sending off. But he worked with him, and Joe Linton had the ability and also the mindset to be able to change into a box-to-box midfielder and then put the hard ground into it. But he did that because Eddie Howe also wanted him to do that. You know, and Eddie Howe said, this is what I want you to do. And I think he's an amazing manager, I really do. And I think he gets far too much poor criticism from armchair fans, as we call them. Yeah, and it's like, you know, you don't see what's happening in the training ground. I wouldn't have walked onto a training ground for the first time and seeing what Joe Linton was doing at the football club and going, well, he's an amazing player.
Yeah, that's a prime example of why Eddie Howe is, as you say, such a good manager. And Newcastle aren't perhaps where they wanted to be at the start of the season, but you look at the players they've had out, you put anyone in Eddie Howe's position, I don't think they do better. I seriously don't think anyone does better than he's done. And I think, as you said, it goes massively under the radar. A lot of people say, oh, Eddie Howe, is he fighting for his job? Not for me. I don't think it's even in doubt. I still, be honest with you, fancy Newcastle to get that 6th spot. And I think that's an amazing season with the players they've had out. We're talking about a depleted Newcastle side that's facing Tottenham this weekend. You include the back five, including the goalkeeper. We're talking several players out. You've got Joe Linton, got obviously Callum Wilson as well in terms of attacking players. You've got so many players out. It's a depleted team. And yet we're talking about it could be an even contest. Whereas let's go back 2-3 years, with Steve Bruce, etc. It wouldn't have been an even contest with a starting 11, full starting 11, let alone with that many players out. So that's just how far you've come under Eddie Howe. I'll put that on the manager. Gets the best out of players as well. Joe Linton's a prime example of that.
Yeah, I'll tell you one person who knew he could play in midfield.
Yeah, like what I want to say about how good Eddie Howe is. Now, you watch your Arsenal documentaries and you watch your Man City documentaries, right? And they go on to the training grounds. And I watched your Spurs one. Mourinho was there. They had a constant squad of about 18, 19, 20 players every single day to put training sessions on, right? Eddie Howe wakes up on a morning and he's got 9, or it's probably like if he's got 11 first team players on a training ground, right, after a game, I'll guarantee you now 4 of them will not be on that training pitch. They'll be in somewhere getting ropes or getting iced or looked after. So he's working with a skeleton crew, trying to prepare in the best league in the world against the best teams in the world, week in, week out, and to get results. What he's done to get us up that end of that table with that kind of squad, what he's had to do, preparing week in, week out. And it's not just a week. This has been consistent.
Well, don't forget cup runs. Don't forget Champions League that got in the way as well. That were,
from whole lot, right? And as much as these managers, the top managers like your Peps, your Jurgen Klopps, they cry on about this, that, and the other, they have not had to dig in deep what Eddie Howe's had to do to get to put us in a position where we are still in a fighting chance with Europe. That man has got to come away with. He's still got to be. He was nearly manager of the year last year. If he's not nominated for manager of the year this year, again, different circumstances, I'll be very surprised because he deserves it. He
deserves it, but he won't be.
He should be, but he won't.
He needs to be up there because what a job he's done. Unbelievable.
Ooh. Well, we're going to come to that very, very soon about who we're going to be facing. But yes, this guy knew Joe Linton could play in midfield. I saw it 3 games before he played in midfield. I was like, get him in midfield. He likes a battle. He likes to fight. He's shit up front, so move him back. It was just a fluke. Few stats for you. This one, along with opponent Spurs, Newcastle United are one of the 2 teams obviously Spurs the other, to have scored 100% of their Premier League home games this season. Their current run of scoring 16 consecutive Premier League home games is the longest run for 18, beaten September 2002, August 2023. So there's going to be goals tomorrow, isn't there, Harry?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think we're talking about, obviously, with your injuries, and majority of them are in defence. That, as I said, the back five, including Nick Pope, in terms of absences. We're talking let's say Livramento is out, he'd be one. You've got Pope, you've got Botman,
I'll show you the list.
Trippier.
I will show you the list.
Yeah, there's so many.
List is like that long.
It's absolutely substantial. So Newcastle going to leak goals. We score goals. However we play, win, lose or draw. I think Brennan Johnson and Werner, they're both, in a purple patch of form, if you like. And if I'm Eddie Howe, Newcastle, you can't play Dan Burn at left back. Brennan Johnson with his pace, we're talking chalk and cheese, and that'd be a recipe for a disaster. So he's got to play that left centre back role, if he's on the pitch at all, which he'd probably have to be for absences. So you have to be left centre back. But yeah, I like our defence in terms of Paru, Udogie, Van der Ven, and Romero. They're in terms of a four individually, it's very strong.
Let's talk about your injuries first, because we're going into that then. So these are the ones who are out. Ryan Sessegnon, probably Richarlison, the doubt. Fraser Foster.
Possibly confirmed today that Richarlison would be out.
There we go then. And Fraser Foster, who used to play for Newcastle, is out as well. Solomon as well. So this is the potential lineup according to Sofa's score. Now, what I did notice in this lineup,
I hope they're wrong.
I hope they're wrong. Well, it's the age of the team. 25. That's a cracking mixture of, obviously, experience as well as youth. What don't you like about that team? What would be
Kulusevski on the left
you expect to see?
Don't want Kulusevski on the left at all. B for me, Timo Werner, a lot more pace. Kulusevski, he wants about a year on the ball, so he can't afford that. I don't really want to see Basuma in there either. For me, it has to be Højbjerg in there, has to be Sarr instead of Basuma. I'd choose one of them. I think he's been. I like Basuma. He's been woeful since he's come back from AFCON. Been very slow. He keeps losing the ball. His passing's been really bad. They just get eaten alive at St.James Park. So Bentancur, yes. Maddison, yes. But probably put Højbjerg in there and shift Bentancur to that left-hand side, swap Maddison over to the right. So that'd what it probably look like. It'd be strong in terms of Werner and Johnson would do really well tracking back, so your full-backs can't overlap. But Kulusevski doesn't track back. All Kulusevski will only be in contention to play for is his hold-up play, to give Spurs a breather if, Newcastle really give everything at Spurs. But apart from that, he doesn't really bring anything at the moment. I'm not one of those fans that reactionary, but in terms of, we're talking about form, Kulusevski and Basuma have got to be up there with the worst in terms of form.
Oh, wow. Right. We'll jump on to... There's our injury list.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, we can field an amazing 11, never mind the 11 that we've got to field.
I think that 11 you've got there, Baz, will be stronger than what you've got now.
Oh, yeah. I actually agree.
Without doubt.
Other than maybe a couple of players. But yeah, it's a cracking team.
I don't think it'd be that many, to be honest. I think Newcastle
Bruno, Isak, Gordon. But still, it's
still going to get your goals, though. You'll get your goals from Almiron and Wilson. You just won't get as many. Defensively, you'll be all right.
Yeah, defensively, definitely. The defense is actually quite smart in there. But this is what SofaScore have said. And to be honest with you, this is pretty much how I would expect us to line up, to be honest with you, especially with the news of Willock. So Anderson will come in. But that is literally probably the fittest 11 we've actually got at the moment. And Dan Burn will slip into centre-back. He's done it in the last 2 games and he's been absolutely superb. Shaw alongside him, of course. Hopefully Lewis Hall is fit. Hopefully Tino's fit and he's in for Kraft. But Kraft started the last game, so we'll just have to wait and see. The front three pick themselves unless Murphy starts. Yeah. Oh, God. Hey, Paul Dummett can play left centre-back, just not left-back.
I think he likes WWE, to be honest.
He does. What an idiot he was. But Ian, what changes would you like? Obviously, I know Tino hopefully starts, but if he doesn't start, that's pretty much the team, isn't it?
Well, for me, I've went to Dubravka, Kraft, Shaw, Burn, and Tino. I just think with them saying is the closest one there. I just think he could be
Mm.
there. Longstaff, Bruno, and Anderson, Murphy, Isak, and Gordon.
Is
Simply,
Murphy fit?
why isn't he fit?
I don't know. There was something I read, but no. I mean,
I think Murphy will
Murphy
start.
could.
If I was Eddie Howe,
Yeah.
I'd start Harvey Barnes. I think he'd worry me up against Paru. That front three for me is the
Mm.
strongest that you've got available. But I think Murphy will start and Gordon will be on the left and Barnes will come on later.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what. No. Here's a quick one for you, which obviously
Go
that team there. Now the Spurs team, I picked Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and obviously Destiny at right back. Basuma and Saw, Johnson, Madison, Werner, and Song. Right now, you're on about goal scoring. Here's one for you, Harry. Right, with the two teams that I've picked there, I've calculated all the goals that they've scored. Newcastle United, with the players that's on that starting 11, we've scored 40 goals through the season, right?
Okay.
And Spurs have scored 39, so we're going to beat us 1-0. There you go.
Love it.
Or one more than them. It could be 4-3.
Yeah, one more, yeah.
One more
I think there's goals in it. Love
Yeah,
it.
we're going to win 1-0.
Vindaloo's running in my head now. Vindaloo.
Yeah. You wait, it'll be 1-0 now.
I'd take it all day long. Ooh, I missed that. Right, a few stats for you before we pick our scores, what we think it's going to be. So Newcastle versus Tottenham, 161, drawn 34, lost 73. Goals for 246, goals against 275. So actually Spurs have scored more goals against us in the Premier League than we've scored against them. I reckon if we go back 10 years, it would be the other way around, to be fair.
Yeah,
when Alan
absolutely.
Shearer was bossing it left, right and centre. Actually 15 years. Premier League, 124, drawn 8, lost 25. So it is very close.
Yeah.
Spurs have got one on us. And as you mentioned, goals for and against, this is how close it is in the Premier League, 89 to 92. So they've actually got 3 more goals than us in the Premier League. So they're going to win 3 now.
No, it's 2-1 now.
It's 2-1 now. 2-1, yeah. Oh, man.
That's
Last 5 games for us, loss, win, draw, win. Spurs, loss, win, loss. So there's no draw in there for Spurs in the last 5 games. You either win or lose.
What West Ham's draw?
That was against us. I think last 5 games against Newcastle.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Last 5 games. No, sorry. That's the. No, it hasn't got the West Ham game in there for some reason. Last 5 games versus Newcastle United. Which is you got Spurs is like, yeah, here it is. 1 loss, 1 draw, 1. But against Newcastle, you've won 1, lost 1. So you've actually won 3 out of the last 5 against us. But again, no draw.
Yeah.
Mental.
We've never drawn games. Under the last 4 or 5 years, we've really struggled to draw a game.
But that's someone said to me, would you rather draw a game or lose it, and then you win a few more, because you do end up getting more points that way because of it, because we drew far too many games last season.
But that's what we do, is we win in a game and we concede. But instead of like Tottenham, we just drop 2 points, is annoying. We end up coming away with nothing. Wolves is a prime example. 91st minute earlier on this season. I know we had it all went wrong at Chelsea and we had quite a few players out, but we were 1-0 up at that period, 91st minute, and there was 4 minutes of added time. By the end, Wolves won 2-1.
Yeah,
it's just unthinkable.
At times, isn't it?
It's bonkers.
It is crazy. So win probability, this is quite interesting. Newcastle 36%, the draw 23%, Spurs 41% favourites.
Yeah.
And there's always goals, like we mentioned. Spurs beat us
Always.
4-1 at their ground this season. We beat them 6-1 at our ground last season. We also beat them 2-1 away. They also hammered us 5-1 at their ground, and then they obviously beat us 3-2 with Steve Bruce as well. So there's some interesting stats in there, and you've got to back both teams to score over 2.5 goals tomorrow. I think that's the bet if you're having a little flutter, or get on the Grand National and forget about the football.
Yeah.
Go on,
Harry, obviously I've seen the Premier League Team of the Year up to now today, and you had 2 of your players in there.
Yeah.
Vicario and obviously Udogie. How good is that left back? Because obviously I like the left backs, right? As Barcelona, I defend them till the hill comes, don't I, Baz?
You do, yeah.
He's been excellent. He's been excellent in terms of very, very young, done really well at Udinese. Hasn't played that inverted obviously role under Ange. Hasn't really played in the back four either. He was signed when Antonio Conte was here. I think at the time it was thought long term for Conte to come in next season, and because a lot of us Spurs, if you asked me about a year ago, a year and a half ago, let's say, I would have thought would Conte have been in the job, this would have been the big season, players out of Doggy coming in, it made perfect sense. So he's adapted to kind of that. My only fault with him is that like Chelsea's a prime example, he can lose his head. I think that's a little bit of inexperience there. He's one of those that if you beat him all game, it's easy to wind up. He loves a yellow card. Apart from he loves assists. Obviously we struggle for clean sheets, that's the only thing, but I don't put it down to him. So he's going forward really good, defensively improving, one-on-one very good. So I think he rightfully got in that team, and so did Vicario. But if we talk about that team in general, I don't quite know, if I'm honest with you. I don't want to start disrespecting Haaland here, but I don't know how he gets in the team this year. I get it last year and everything. I don't know about this year when you've got Watkins. And for me, there's a lot of players. Even Isak, I think, has a better shout than Haaland to getting in the team. So I find that a bit bizarre. But overall, I'm happy we've got 2 players in it. Usually it's quite a biased team, so it's the best one I've seen for a few years.
It's normally just full of Man City and Liverpool, isn't it? Let's face it. So
usually
Chelsea might get in there. One Man United if you're lucky.
Yeah,
I mean, Isak's goal ratio is absolutely crazy, but again, he's been injured for too long.
I'll captain him in FPL tomorrow.
Yeah, because
I fancy him to score.
Obviously, when we played Fulham last week, obviously the Johnson coming forward from that side was a right threat. Will he be the one that pushes on to give you that extra width from that side? Is he that type of player that comes from deep and causes problems?
Johnson, did you say? Sorry.
No, that because last week when we played against Fulham, Johnson was that kind of player that pushed on, giving them that extra width and created quite a lot. Will he come do that side as well? With your player, will he be the same threat? Because he gave Kraft the right handful last week.
Robinson, the Fulham left back.
Yeah,
I think so. I think he will be. And in terms of in this game, I think obviously the midfield battle will be really interesting to see how it pans out. I probably just about favours us, if I'm honest with you, without Joe Linton, but it will be really interesting. But in terms of the fullbacks, whoever it may be, it's a bit of unknown in terms of who will start on either side for Newcastle. But Werner and Johnson, again, Spurs fans will be very critical of them, but they will cause problems. There'll be a lot of pace. You can probably question the end product. And I think you'll see examples of that tomorrow. We get in good positions, we don't often shoot or take the chance. But I think there'll be, in terms of the wings, like Johnson, etc., I think we cause Newcastle's fullbacks a lot of problems. So I think that's where the game can be run if we get it right, keep on side. That transition, I think this game will be run in the quick transitions from, like we see with City, pass, boom, they're gone. So I think it'll be the quick moves that will really define this, rather than your slow breakdown. I think it'll be quick moves on the counter that will define it for either side.
You get plenty of counter if we have a lot of the ball, and then there's that gap between the midfield and the defence again, which will scare the crap out of us, won't it, Ian? So
both teams will want the ball. That's what's interesting.
Yeah. You're right. It's gonna. I mean, we have surrendered the ball at St.James's Park against better teams, haven't we?
Yeah.
And come out on top because of it.
We have.
We quick on the break.
We've done that against Man City in the Cup, and we surrendered that ball for 45 minutes, and we feared the worst. And second half, we just came out and absolutely blew them out.
My signal's going.
We absolutely blew them out of the water. But last week, we surrendered the ball for a long period of time, and we went out against Fulham. We only had 33% possession out the whole of the game. The result was well, but the performance was poor. If we decide to do that tomorrow, I just think Tottenham will have far too much for us, and I don't think we'll come up with the correct end of the result. So I'm just hoping for a positive.
I think, Ian, sorry to interrupt, I think that you're best going all out attack, to be honest with you, in terms of because of the play you've got out defensively. We've had some teams that it's worked well. Wolves, prime example, sit behind the ball and counter attack. They got the win. That's because they had a really solid defence, but also the players on the counter. But the players you've got out, you have to go for us. And like you did, I don't think we quite see the extreme of last season, but that first 15, 20 minutes, you go at us, you get a healthy lead. That'd be interesting. But we seem to make changes at half time at the moment. We start slow. The difference is against Forest, we got away with it. It should have been behind Chris Wood. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a big chance he missed where Forest should have gotten 2-1 up, where he hits the post. You expect that to go in for someone like Chris Wood. But yeah, I think that if you get it right, we saw that Forest game wasn't good enough, and you go 2-3 up easily, and then that is a problem for us in terms of coming back. Is it too late? And so we're interesting to see. But we went to the Etihad and we wanted the ball. That was really interesting to see. That's one thing with Andrew. He certainly don't change, because I promise you, we go to Anfield, you'll see it, and we're trying boss possession and try and play out from the back. It'd be horrible to see, but we don't seem to change for anyone. So it'd be really interesting to see. But usually with Newcastle,
that will be with our high press, because we like to press from the front,
absolutely,
especially from goal kicks and
with
things
your
like
fully
that.
fit defence. Fully fit defence, I think that the right thing would sit back and use your counter-attacking pace at Gordon and Isak, but you have to go for it with the players you've got unavailable. For me,
I think the first 10 minutes, Baz and Harry, I think the first 10 minutes for both sides tomorrow was absolutely crucial.
Absolutely.
If we're on top in the first 10 minutes, the crowd will get behind us, and if Tottenham are on top the first 10 minutes, it's going to be a difficult game for us. So I think it'll be that first 10 minutes for both sides, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Right, people in the chat, get your score predictions in quickly, because we're about to end the show and getting our predictions in after we've had a quick look at the table. I put it down as a 6-pointer, and then I realised we're 13 points behind you. I was like, I thought we were still only 10 points behind you. I was just like, oh, man.
Yeah, because we beat Forest, didn't we? Last game of the weekend.
Yeah. So if we beat you at the weekend, 10 points gap, I still think it's too much in. So I think we need to win just to try and nick that 6th spot, don't we, really? That should be our aim now, shouldn't it?
Yeah, finish the top of the 6. Where that group that was said, that the next one where you've got your 6 teams, we've got to finish top of that. But them lucky shites above us, Man United, just seem to grind a result out from here and there.
Oh, so jammy.
I know.
They
are.
But Villa for me, they just for me, they just haven't been the same since we beat them at their place. They're just very hissy. So they can go in either direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, they could. 11 points for Man United, 12 points for West Ham, 13 points. It's a lot of points to catch up at this stage of the season.
They are. I mean, Brighton were flying, and they've just kind of levelled out. I think it's between the Chelsea, us, West Ham, and Man United and Aston Villa. We've just got to. I mean, Tottenham's way out of our reach. I think they've set their without a doubt. They've set their goal, and that's where they'll finish me. I think that'll be.
Yeah. I think that's a top 4. What you see is a top 4, but obviously, depending on who wins the league, it's that tight up there. But I think Villa could.
I think you're in like that.
Down.
I'm honest with you. I think you're in like that in terms of the top 5.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard to catch Villa, to be honest with you.
I think the bottle job's at the top. Will bottle it again, like they always do. I think they're on.
Yes.
And it'll be between Man City and Liverpool. That'll go for the title.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Can they bottle it when they play us, North London Derby on the 28th?
Of course they will. They will.
Yes.
1,000,000%.
I hope so.
And I still think Man City will get over the line, because I just think.
Really,
I do as well.
Yeah, I've watched the new documentary on Netflix, and they've got so many leaders in that dressing room just to get over that. Get over, and you don't realise. I thought Pep was a top manager when he's got so many leaders around him, in that dressing room. Yeah. I mean, God, Diaz, Rodri, vocal people in that dressing room that just gets over that line. It's just it's a collective effort to do it, and I just think they'll do it again. I really do. Yeah,
I agree.
I think
having look at the league table, you must be happy. I mean, 4th is definitely in your hands. And I know you're just sitting in 4th level with Villa, but Villa are dropping off. This is your chance to put a bit of a buffer, and you've also got a game in hand on them.
It is. I think we still, as you say, in control of that top 4 position. But the last 48 hours have, I would say, put me on edge slightly in terms of, we've seen West Ham lose in Europe. We've seen Liverpool unexpectedly lose. We've seen City draw when I thought they could go and win that. And there's periods that look like it. So in terms of fifth place coming to England. It's taken a bit of a dent in the last 72
horrible.
hours. I still think it will happen. If I'm honest with you. I still think it will come to England, but I've been saying that for ages, and it's taken a big dent, as I said, in that last 48, 72 hours. So, and that at the moment looks healthy, but my worry is after it's Chelsea, is Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool next, and that for me is the make or break kind of time, if you like, for Spurs. And we're talking about a 13-point gap to Newcastle. If you win tomorrow with our 3 games, and let's say we come out of those 4 with nothing, then it's doable. But you have to win tomorrow to have any kind of chance. But the aim for Newcastle will has to be for me that top 6. I think 7th will be the end of the world for you. Well, I think you can get 6th.
I agree.
I think West Ham will focus on Europe. If they get knocked out with all that effect, then they're starting to get players out. Chelsea, you know what they're like, inconsistent. Brighton, I don't think it's fantastic at the moment. I think De Zerbi links is getting in the way. Obviously, Wolves, Fulham, Bournemouth a bit further down there. So I think I'll be honest with you, I fancy you for that 6th spot.
I like it. I'll tell you what, I think I jinxed the English teams because I did a video about how we could still
So did I.
5th, or how many points behind we were Germany. We've got a great chance of doing it. All we've got to do is better the German teams, and then virtually every single English team went out and drew or lost on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. And I was just like,
the Liverpool one was the most unexpected, especially 3-0.
You did that with the Warby. You did that with the Warby on Saturday as well.
I did. I just need to keep my mouth shut from now on, really. I should stop predicting things.
Didn't you? You went, the Warby's terrible. You're not getting no threat from him. And he dictated the whole game.
I'm glad to know it's not just me.
I'm not saying nothing about Spurs players.
I done a video last week about how FPL, I finally done a right at it, and the last week I had was the worst week I've had all season. So I'm glad not to
it happens. As soon as you open your mouth, someone just is ready. Karma is ready to strike
an
you
unpopular
down.
opinion, and it is unpopular in terms of Bayer Leverkusen's record, in particular defensively, and the players that West Ham have out with Paqueta and Emerson added to the list. I'm not going to say they're going to turn it around, but I wouldn't write them off completely in terms of they get an early goal at home as well. I don't think it's over. A lot of people go, it's over. I don't think it is.
They've got a chance still.
Yeah, Liverpool one maybe in terms of, again, the players have got out. But even with Liverpool, you still get them
away from home
chance.
to Atalanta.
I can't see it. I give West Ham more of a chance than Liverpool, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
Liverpool
have got bigger fish to fry, haven't they now? I think Liverpool are
I think Villa win the Conference
league.
League, which obviously should help the England thing. I think that City will progress. I think West Ham have a big chance of progressing. I think Liverpool, that will be a bit of a letdown.
It's a tough one, isn't it? The way to buy in.
See, that could define whether let's say we finish 5th and get Champions League football or not. That's the thing. Can you want Arsenal to progress? And they brag about it. They've been in Champions League for a while if they progress. I think that Bayern will do the job, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they will, but you're just saying that because you're a Spurs fan and it's Arsenal. But
well, I do think they win the league.
Can you imagine, though, right? If everyone else faltered and it was all on Arsenal to get that 5th spot for you guys to get Champions League football, would you actually cheer them on?
I'm someone who always says, see, a lot of Spurs fans go, we take 5th, we just don't want Arsenal winning the title. And it will be insufferable, but I'm one of those fans that puts the club first. So put Arsenal to a side. I don't want them to do well. If it means we finish in Champions League, then so be it. I won't be celebrating them when they score, but I look at...
but you'd be like...
It's like when Chelsea beat Man United. I dislike Chelsea, dislike Pochettino, and I dislike that the Chelsea fans kept going on and on about that being quiet down there, drawn Sheffield United. But I try to look at the positive. United lost. Fernandes is quiet. The pressure's on Ten Hag, and the gap increases from United to Spurs. So I think you've got to look at the positives. But a lot of Spurs, I promise you've done a poll with Spurs fans. They'd rather take 5th. But for me, you put the club first. But hopefully 5th is enough for Champions League football. Otherwise, we'll be in the Europa League, maybe playing you.
Yeah, you never know. I honestly think we'll do it as the English team. We're only like 0.70 points away from...
We should be okay. I can't see anything but Villa winning the Conference League. I can't see anyone else winning that.
Fingers crossed. Right, score predictions. Come to you first, Harry, then. Obviously, it's been a while since you won at St.James Park. Obviously, Steve Bruce era. What do you think the score is going to be tomorrow?
I think it's 5 goals in this. I think it's a 5-goal thriller. I definitely think there's goals. I think
So 5-0 Newcastle. Great. Ian?
no chance. I hope not anyway. Not in 20 minutes, as your title says there. I'm going to go with actually, sadly, 3-2 Newcastle. I think that we'll take the lead. We'll go 2-0 up. But the thing is that where we've won in games is we get to half-time either drawing or losing. And Ange Postecoglou, he obviously don't know what goes inside the dressing room. But like Forest, give you an example, 6 minutes early they came out with 2 changes made. Don't tell me there wasn't something he said at half-time. That would have been pretty serious. And we came out absolutely, firing. But I could just imagine us going 2-0 up and Ange going, keep going. The players think, you kind of, the momentum falls. I know what the Spurs team are like. They need that positive bit of energy. I think we drop off. I think Barnes will come off the bench, get a brace. 3-2 Newcastle.
Ooh, that's very interesting. Considering you said in the first 15 minutes, if we go 3-0 up, that'd be game over.
I think.
And now you're saying you're going to go 2-0 up, and now we're going to win 3-2.
I think in half an hour you'll be behind.
He's on the drink. He's on the drink.
Love it.
I love it.
I think you'll score late.
3-2
I think that
all
third
day.
goal will come late. Talking 94th, 95th minute. I think it'll be really dramatic.
To be fair, we've had a few dramatic games recently, haven't we? And we could do without having our hearts tested a bit. We're just like a nice, comfortable game, wouldn't we? But that's not how Newcastle do it. It's not how Spurs do it.
Would you take
either,
a draw?
Yeah.
I would.
Yes, because of the players that are out, yes.
Yeah,
but
sense.
I hate predicting draws when we're at home. Even when Man City come, I'm like, we're going to beat them.
Yeah. I would take a draw, to be honest with you, but some Spurs fans don't because the games we've got coming up. But I think that people don't respect Newcastle enough in terms of still, even with the players that are out, manager, and the form of St.James Park, the fans. I still think it's a tough place to go. However many players Newcastle have out, so I would take a draw. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that. Ian, what about you?
Like I've said, I think the first 10 minutes is crucial where this game will go. Because
he's going to sit on the fence. He's going to sit on the fence. I can feel it.
He's going to go with the draw.
I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Desmond. Oh, 1-1.
Yeah.
2 sticks.
1-1 draw, mate. I just think again, it's. I just wish we had more players available to really test that. To have a go at home,
even a couple would be key.
I totally agree.
The bench is going to be very weak, isn't it? And I think that's why we'll suffer.
Yeah, as long as the game goes on.
Yeah, and it's it's that presence of Joe Linton. Even Callum Wilson coming off the bench, it's just that extra threat that you can score goals. He
loves to go against Tottenham as well, Callum Wilson.
He does. And it's just, if we had Kieran Trippier and all at right back, it's just. It's that.
Did he say in the press conference that Trippier might make the bench? Or am I just making that up?
I think he said he's near, but not near enough for Tottenham.
Yeah. So it's like it's that level where you have to be at to get you think, we can go and beat Spurs. You know what I mean? To have them players that's there on a collective level throughout the squad, where Spurs have got that. So to get a point, to come away with a point against a good Spurs side that's pushing on, that would be a remarkable result on the day, mate, if we get a point. I think it would be.
I'll tell you what I'm happy about. We're not part of Super 6 tomorrow because it's an early kickoff.
Love that.
Oh, yeah.
I hate doing Super 6 when it comes to Newcastle in big games like this. Do you know what? It is a tough game. It is going to be very, very tough. I don't know with Bruno, what he did last week, scoring the winner against Fulham in the last 10 minutes to go. You got Joe Linton signing a new contract. There's going to be a lot of enthusiasm, excitement in the air again. And I think that might just get us over the line, but it's going to be very, very tough. And I'm kind of like what Harry's thinking. Is it going to be a goal thriller? But I'll stick with the most common football result in history, 2-1.
0-0.
2-0. No. Definitely 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1, but I think it could be Desmond.
2-1 Newcastle.
Yeah. But I think it could be Desmond. And I think, to be honest with you, there's no reason why the scoreline can't be reversed and Tottenham could win it. It all depends on our fitness levels. And do we have anything to come on the bench to, if we are winning, to shut shop?
I think you'll
struggled
definitely
against
have
Man
threat
City.
going forward. I don't think you score on goals will be your problem. It's just, can you stop us from scoring? And if so, how many? And I think there'll be a real test. And as Ian says, that first 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes will be massive, because we go an early lead and St. James's Park goes quiet, which is a very, very rare occasion. Then that's when it comes interesting in terms of Newcastle. In terms of mentality kicks in, oh, here we go again. We've got no options to come off the bench. That positive energy turns to negative. Or if you take the lead, it's completely different. The feeling in football.
Do you know,
if we score in that first 5 minutes, the excitement will be there. You'll feel it in people's faces. Is it going to happen again?
Do you know as well, the way the game is, if Son drops into them holes where he can just pick pieces up, drive at us, I think if he's on his game, mind, I think when he finds that number 10 role and gets beyond, I think he's a fantastic player. Now he's such a threat.
I love Son.
And Johnson's got pace down that side as well, and obviously
Werner on the left.
But for me, when Werner was at Chelsea, you've seen a lot more of him, Harry, now when he's been at Spurs. I was very surprised you actually signed him.
Me too.
And it was one of these ones where we were linked with him, and he was one of these names that were just floated about, where you're thinking, we're going to get Werner. What will he bring?
I didn't think it'd happen.
Because we were one of these ones where we'd go, what's he actually going to bring in Newcastle? Because he doesn't bring goals. He doesn't bring. He reminds me a little bit of a Dirk Kuyt at Liverpool, where he does quite a little bit. He does quite a bit of the shit unnoticed, where he'll graft his arse off, and he'll go around the pitch unnoticed, but he's still a threat and create. So he brings that. So like I say, that if you're run in them first 10 minutes, them front three for me, and then obviously the person that we haven't even spoke about tonight, Maddison in the hole, where obviously linked with us last year, could be coming. Is he going to come and make a point to prove where he's went? Yeah, this is what I could have been bringing to your football club. It's another one. This where he can score. He can just make things happen. He can make. It's that front four, I should say, that can be so critical to this football match for Spurs in that first minutes, where if they're on, we're going to have a tough afternoon. But like I say, we've got a good front three as well. So potentially, this has got a good game both at both ends in that final third. That can be a really, really exciting game. A nail biter, but I've just bigged everybody up. It'll probably be a 0-0.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna change something quickly. I'm gonna keep the score prediction at 3-2 Newcastle, but I'm gonna change it. I think you'll go 2-0 up and start really quickly to James's Park crowd, because I know what Tottenham are like. We start slow. So I think you'll go 2-0 up. I think that, and it'll be 2-0 up at half time. I think we'll make changes again at half time, change probably 1, maybe 2. We'll come out, we'll get it to 2-2, and it'll be a bit of tension. And I think that you'll ride the storm almost, if you like, and we'd be so close to getting that third goal, but can't quite get it. And I stick by, I think, 94th, 95th minute at the end. I fancy a Harvey Barnes goal. So I think that you'll win it 3-2.
Have you got a soft spot for Harvey Barnes, Harry?
He must have a soft spot for Harvey Barnes. I think he's quality as well. I
wanted him when he was at Leicester, to be fair. No, I really like him. I think that he's a real threat. In terms of like who worries me at Newcastle, of course he's that. His goal scoring record. But I think we have 2 good centre backs. So we forget that to second. I think that obviously Gordon, again, good form. But Harvey Barnes probably does worry me the most. I think he's, in terms of impact, you may not notice him for a while, but when it matters, he produces, as we've seen. So he would worry me the most. Guimaraes is excellent as well, of course. So I want to see how midfield pans out, because Guimaraes is on his own can control that midfield. So it'd be really interesting to see.
So do you know what Guimaraes, you're on about Guimaraes? Why isn't Højbjerg not playing there to try and nullify Bruno?
I would play.
He might be. We don't know, do we? That's what.
No, we don't know.
Harry said he would, but SofaScore says he wasn't for some reason.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think Højbjerg will play, but I would play him in the number 6 role, because we just leak too many goals, and Højbjerg offers that protection, and he has that fight in midfield. And as I said, I still do like Basuma. I don't think we're anywhere near from selling him, but he's been a little bit off. He's played a lot of games, including AFCON. It's just that little bit of sharpness. It's not to say bad, but that instant second, he's like that little bit late to a pass, and the ball's giving away so many fouls, and his pass is not quite right. And I think for a game like this, big game where your passing has to be spot on at St.James's Park, I would be benching Basuma. And Højbjerg, I think, is really professional, really consistent, top athlete. For me, you put him in there as a 6. A lot of Spurs fans go, oh, we need a number 6 in the summer. I think Højbjerg could do that, or even your Bentancur as a progressive 6. Like, had an ACL injury. If you don't want to risk anything like that, play him as a progressive 6. That'd be better for him. And I think we need to worry about things like number 9 before we even get into the number 6 debate, to be honest with you.
I like Højbjerg. We're interested in him in January.
January, we'll link with him.
Yeah.
We'll link
Yes.
so.
Well, we'll link with everyone under the sun, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. That's the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and being part of the comments and getting your scores in. It's going to be a very, very interesting game tomorrow. It could go either way. But it's great to hear Harry's thoughts, as always, as a Spurs fan. Great to have you in on as well. I will be doing the watch along tomorrow. I've managed to get rid of my kids. I've been very lucky. I got rid of one and I was going to keep one, and now I've got rid of both of them. So I've actually got both of them out of the door tomorrow. So I will be doing the watch along. And then on Saturday night, we will be doing the review because I've got things to do Sunday, Monday, unfortunately. So tune in tomorrow for 2 shows, and we'll see you then. Take care and good night, and have a great weekend. And hopefully it's 3 points to the 2.
No.